Yeah, mate, people do. They need to wake up. People really do need to wake up to this stuff. I mean, like I said, they've just banned ginger and turmeric in Thailand. How long is it going to be before they ban ginger and turmeric and chili in the United States and in Australia here? We're not going to be able to go and buy chili? Not be able to make chili anymore? Not be able to make ginger? I mean, it's absurd, folks. What they're doing is absolutely absurd. And instead of just maybe tightening controls. If they're really so keen on it, they could just tighten controls on these farmer-friendly herbal plants, right? I mean, I think they should crack down on multinational companies who exploit farmers by luring them into buying toxic products. That's what I think they should do. It's absolutely disgusting. But it's going on all around the world. They're eliminating organic farming. And pretty soon you won't even be able to go and buy herbs or spices or vitamin pills or multivitamins. You won't even be able to buy these from health food shops. You're going to need a prescription to buy vitamin C, folks. You know, anything over 35 milligrams, you're going to need a prescription. Now, this is happening because we're letting it happen. No one's saying anything. They're just letting them pass these laws. And these aren't even laws. These are just corporate legislations. You know, what I was saying about this common law thing, this is what we need to do, is people to reclaim their birthrights and understand that we are not subjected to their corporate commercial legal system unless we want to, and that we have inalienable rights. We have inalienable rights that cannot be taken away from us. And people need to find this out, and they need to make noises about it. So we'll talk a little bit more about this after the break, and it's a pleasure talking to you, as it always is.
Wasn't very large. There was just enough room to cram the drums in the corner over by the Dodge. It was a 54 with a mashed up door and a cheesy little lamp, with a sign on the front said Fender Champ and a second-hand guitar. It was a Stratocaster with a whammy bar.
Okay, folks. Well, yes, in our present environment, it really is hard to be more scared of any terrorist organisation on earth than it is to be scared of the heinous actions of our own governments. But don't let that get to you, folks. Don't let it get to you. Understand that you have the power. They don't have the power. You have the power. They only have the power that we give to them. So just stop giving it to them, and pay attention to the fluoride issue. Please pay attention. I mean, I don't know how to say it to people. I mean, just stop brushing your teeth with rat poison. Maybe that will work. Just go to any large hardware store and look for rat poison, and look at the ingredients in that rat poison. And very, very often you'll find that there is actually only one ingredient, which is sodium fluoride. Now, they've changed it a little bit in recent years. They've started to be more creative and put other ingredients in rat poison. But see if your granddad's got some out of the shed from the 70s or the 60s or the 70s or something like that. There might be an old packet you've still got somewhere, and you'll find that back in the 70s, that's what it was. There wasn't any other use for the stuff. Rat poison. It's always been rat poison. It's just an industrial product, and they've got no way of disposing of it. There was an FDA researcher who tried to blow the whistle on fluoride years ago, and he was demoted, and like about 10 years ago or something it was. But it's rat poison, folks. It's rat poison. It has a narcotic-like effect on the brain. It gives you cancer. It lowers your intelligence. It like millions and millions of people in India and China suffer this a crippling bone disease called skeletal fluorosis. Okay, and skeletal fluorosis is caused by fluoride in water. It has several stages of severity, but it's a terribly debilitating disease. Arthritis, hip fractures, bone cancer, all sorts of stuff. You know, all the tests I've done, all the cell cultures, all got cancer and stuff. I mean, you just don't want to go near this stuff, folks. You absolutely don't want to go near it. It's one of the most important things you can do is to get fluoride out of your diet. Now, a lot of people, with everything that's going on, a lot of people have been talking about fighting. And everyone's getting ready to protect themselves and getting ready for the big revolution and all this sort of stuff. But I truly believe that there's a better way. I believe that the way to stop the New World Order is to deal with them now. I mean, a revolution is what they want. And I mean, you know, just look at the new bailout. another 700 billion, is it, I think? Well, on top of the other 800 billion. I mean, the dollar's going to be worth toilet paper soon. You can't just keep throwing money out there, you know, and expect it to be worth anything. And they give it to the banks. They don't give it to the people, of course. And it's, I mean, they're pushing for a revolution. The banks are acting like a bully in the schoolyard. Well, hell, we gave out 800 billion and the country stayed peaceful. This is no good. Maybe if we give out another 700 billion, maybe the people will react then and start a fight. And as soon as they start a fight, we can declare martial law, and it's all in our court. I mean, and we've got better weapons, so we want the people to start a fight. Now, that's the way they're thinking, folks. That's absolutely the way they're thinking. So the best way to deal with it is to realise your sovereignty and free yourself from the system, start taking responsibility for yourself. Realise that none of their laws actually apply to you. They only apply to the corporate you. You can free yourself of the corporate you. There are a lot of people that are doing this now. As the things I've mentioned with Thomas Anderson on the show here, and the Strawman video that's on my website, on thecrowhouse.com. All of these sorts of things. There's a man in Canada, I think, called Rob Maynard, I think his name is. If you looked up the Canada Freeman Society, you'll find out a lot about that. He's a very, very empowering individual. I watched part of one of his videos last night. Very, very, very strong individual, very good person to talk to, and seemed very much wanted to help other people. So that's something to think about, you know. I mean, you shouldn't be scared of what's going on about the New World Order. There's a story, actually, someone told me, or I saw on a website, and I've got it down. I wrote it down here in Notepad. I don't know who wrote it, but I'll read it to you anyway, because it's a lovely little story. And it's about a man who was selling hot dogs on the roadside. And he was illiterate, he couldn't read the newspapers, and he was pretty hard of hearing. So he never listened to the radio. His eyes were weak, so he never watched television. But he was very enthusiastic, and he sold lots of hot dogs from his hot dog stand. He was smart enough to offer some attractive schemes to increase his sales, and his profits went right up. So he ordered more raw material and buns and used to have even more sales. Then he recruited a few more supporting staff to serve more customers. He started offering home deliveries. Eventually, he got himself a bigger and better stove, and his business was just growing and growing and growing. He was powering, selling these hot dogs. Then one day, his son came up to him and said, "Hey, Dad, aren't you aware of the Great Recession that's coming our way?" And he said, the father, he said, "No, but tell me about it." The son said, "Well, the international situation's terrible. The domestic situation's even worse. We should be prepared for the coming bad times. You shouldn't be expanding like this." And the man thought that since his son had been to college and read the papers and listened to the radio and watched TV, he ought to know what was going on. He should take his advice. So from the next day onwards, the father cut down his use of raw materials and ordered less buns, and he took down the colourful signboard and removed all the special schemes he was offering to the customers, and was no longer as enthusiastic as he was. He reduced his staff by giving a few layoffs, and soon fewer and fewer people bothered to stop by at his hot dog stand. And his sales started to come down rapidly, same as the profit. And in the end, father said to the son, "Son, you were right. We're in the middle of a recession and a crisis. I'm glad you warned me ahead of time." And the moral of the story, of course, is that it's all in your mind, and we actually fuel this recession by our actions, much more than you possibly think we do. And that's very, very true. We create this reality, folks. We create this reality. I say this all the time. And it's time to take action. And what you can do to take a stand, I mean, it's time to take a stand for the well-being of the world, but to do it in a real manner. It's a commitment that's got to come from your conscience. It's got to come from the deepest part of yourself, because there are many things you can do to offset the global situation and to become a positive force. And it can be done by strengthening yourself and strengthening others around you. A lot of people have written to me and they've expressed feelings of hopelessness in the face of everything. And if this is your experience, then it's important to remember that it is the intention of the powers that be to, in fact, make you feel hopeless and impotent in the face of it. I mean, don't allow yourself to be persuaded into that. You find strength by taking action. But you say, well, action, but what can I really do? Well, there's a great deal you can do. You know, preparation, it's got to begin with awareness and education. It's imperative that you have an understanding of what you're dealing with, and educate yourself in everything that's available to you about the New World Order and about their plans, about Codex Alimentarius. Spread the message about fluoride. Even do what I've done and print out some pamphlets. I mean, you could print out an information pamphlet about fluoride, and you could just take some with you when you go shopping, drop some off in letterboxes. If it's illegal to put things into letterboxes where you live, I mean, I'm not saying that you should go out at night when no one's looking and put pamphlets in people's letterboxes, but I'm sure there's things that you could do and find a way to distribute this information to people.